Happy Friday, guys, or whatever day you're watching it. And it is a happy Friday, guys, or whatever day you're watching it, if you're holding Bitcoin and Bitcoin proxies. In this video, we're going to talk about why Bitcoin hasn't topped out yet, why it's not even close. We're also going to look at some other Bitcoin news, take a look at CleanSpark on the chart, and see what else we get into. Now, first off, on-chain data shows the Bitcoin price bull run is far from over. And the MVRV Z-score, NUPL, and Puell multiple suggest Bitcoin is far from overheated. First off, the MVRV Z-score. This compares Bitcoin's market cap multiplied by circulating supply with its realized cap, which is the average price at which all Bitcoin were last transacted. In simpler terms, all you have to worry about is if this goes to the red. If it goes to the green, it's undervalued, good to buy. If it goes to the red, we may be topping out. You can see in previous cycles, we topped out here in the red, topped out here in the red, above the red, crazy rally. The MVRV Z-score is not telling us the top is in. What about the Puell multiple? This evaluates miner profitability by comparing their daily USD denominated value to their previous one-year moving average. Post-halving, miners' earnings dropped by 50%, which led to a multi-month period of decreased earnings as Bitcoin consolidated. Mining earnings have just crossed back above their yearly average, which post-halving has signified the start of exponential bullish price action. And the Puell multiple, when it reclaims 1, it previously signified the start of bullish price action. We're heading right towards 1. And you guys know, if you've been watching this channel, you know the miners are back into profitability. Q4 has brought them back to profitability. Some still have Q3 to report, and that is one of the headwinds we're still facing. Because Q3 was a bad quarter for Bitcoin. Bitcoin went all the way down to 49K back in August. And in my opinion, once we get through the last that have to report Q3, once we see some good forward guidance for Q4, that is the fuel that these Bitcoin miners need to break out of their previous resistances. What about measuring market sentiment with NUPL, or net unrealized profit and loss? This metric quantifies the network's overall profitability, mapping sentiment phases like optimism, belief, euphoria. Similar to MVRV Z-score, as it is derived from realized value or investor cost basis, it looks at the current estimated profit or losses for all holders. And this metric is still lower than levels that we have experienced at our previous all-time highs back in March. And this chart tells us is basically in the belief zone, which is still far from euphoria and greed. Now remember, guys, those of you that bought during 2022, 2023, if you're up massively, if you're happy with the profits you're at, make sure you trim a little bit off the table. Make sure you secure some profits, especially on huge pump days, on days where everything's rallying, everyone's saying you need to buy this. Those are good days to trim, especially those of you that bought back in 2022, 2023, and you're up multiples from here. You want to be trimming and scaling out as we finish off this bull run. Don't hold it into 2026, at least following the cycle, which I do expect to still play out. We should top out somewhere in 2025. You want to be trimming into that strength. Now, there is more to this article, a couple more things to check out, so definitely look at it down below in the description. And looking at Bitcoin, it is so close to that 100,000, you can almost reach out and touch it. Be careful, because we are getting multi-bearish divergences on the chart. We are seeing the RSI start to cool. Unless we get a fat pop here, this is cooling while the price is going up. This is cooling while price is still going up. On the hourly even, this has been rising while the RSI has been dropping. So be aware that with Bitcoin, there are bearish divergences. The market might ignore them. If we get more buying than selling, then it will keep pushing the price up. That is how the market works. The chart doesn't always play out, but do be aware that there are bearish divergences we may be due to cool down before we crack that 100K. When we run this far, this fast, there will be pullbacks. Maybe it's here, maybe it's when we get to 110, 120K and we pull back to 100K. But there will be corrections, there will be pullbacks. Take those as last second buying opportunities. I think it is still the time to buy the Bitcoin miners. It is still the time to DCA into MicroStrategy. It is still the time to buy your Bitcoin proxies you like, to buy your altcoins you like, especially alts, as we continue the later phase of this bull run. The bear market ended in the end of 2022 and the bull market began in 2023. We're now getting into 2025. It has been almost 2 years that we've been in a bull market. So people saying the bull market is about to start, it has already been going on. It has already started years ago. Keep that in mind. Remember to follow Bitcoin's cycle. We should top out at some point in 2025, but also remember to secure some profits. If you're up massively, if you're feeling good about the gains you're at, trim some, take some profits. Don't be greedy. There is going to be a lot of greed in the future. Watch out. Don't get swept up in it. You had all this time in the world to buy Bitcoin at 15,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, 70,000. We are now almost at 100,000. Soon Bitcoin could be 150,000. Will you be buying then? Will you be buying the Bitcoin miners at that point? I definitely won't. Will you be buying the MicroStrategies, the Coinbases, the spot Bitcoin ETFs? There will be someone buying towards the late phase of this cycle, and there will also be someone stuck holding the bag at the end. The time to buy heavily has already passed us, in my opinion. The time to start selling is on the horizon. Remember to follow Bitcoin cycles and you will do perfectly fine. Remember to not get swept up with FOMO or with FUD, because just like the market can trick you and make you want to buy tops, the market can also trick you and make you want to sell the lows. Remember when Bitcoin was 49K back in August and so many people were pessimistic about everything, feeling like this is it, this is done, Bitcoin is never going to break back over 74,000. Mt. Gox sellers have just ruined this bull cycle, remember that? And in hindsight, that was a fantastic buying opportunity. We are now double from that point back in early August. It's funny how things change literally like that, just so quickly. If you had hindsight, what would you guys have been doing back in August? Hopefully you guys took advantage and bought the Bitcoin proxies while they were low. And while Bitcoin has done a double since August, CleanSpark, for instance, has only done about a 50% gain since August. At its peak, it was over 10x from its low. Now it is only about 7x from its low. And I do think there's an important pattern to follow, and the market agrees. The market found resistance on this 17 level. I do think we're going to continue to chop around until we get our earnings, which is coming out in the middle of December. The CleanSpark team should have some great forward guidance. Bitcoin, by that point, they will know basically the price that Bitcoin has been throughout all of Q4. We should get some great forward guidance, some profitability expected. What I'm not feeling great about is Q3, when Bitcoin dropped down to 49K, like I said. So the actual earnings numbers might not be great, but forward guidance, quarters moving forwards are going to look fantastic. Remember, the market is forward looking. You want to get in now. You want to be adding in while there's any short-term worry, while there's short-term pessimism. Being right here, right now, reminds me of when we were right here back in 2024, when we were just flipping back to profitability. You guys remember that? When we ran up a little bit to 13, pulled all the way back down to $6, $7, reported a profitable quarter, huge gap up on good earnings, all the way ran to $25 on a profitable quarter. Basically ran from the 7s to $25. Now, I am certainly not expecting a 4x on a good earnings here because price is higher, among other factors. But what would a 4x be just for fun? A nearly 4x from here would put CleanSpark nearly at $60. Now, I don't expect that in a short period of time, but is that something we can reach by the peak? I don't see why not, especially if we can keep seeing profitable quarters after profitable quarters, which is to be expected. So, the people with the negative sentiment for the Bitcoin miners, if you believe Bitcoin is going to go higher, if you believe Bitcoin's bull run is not over, you should expect the Bitcoin miners to go higher. You know that these Bitcoin miners are on the brink of profitability again, and that flip to profitability last time is what gave CleanSpark a nearly 4x. That flip to profitability is what brought Iron from the 4s all the way to 15 on a good profitable earnings. So great times are coming for the miners. You have to have a little faith, you have to believe in the process, you have to believe in the cycle, and understand that these Bitcoin miners just got through the halving and now they are back to profitability again. Things are going to get exciting. If you get out now, I do believe you will regret it. And also, what's been going on with clskw? This is CleanSpark warrants. They expire in 2028. This is one that I expect will do very good, probably outperform CleanSpark, and it has been doing so far. It is almost up 400% in the last 5 days, 42% up today. This, in my opinion, is a great DCA over the future weeks, maybe months. Scale into it and then get ready to scale out before Bitcoin crypto winter comes, and maybe even hold a little bit in anticipation of next cycle. Remember, this expires in 2028. That will be right around the halving year of next cycle, right when Bitcoin starts popping again, or a year after Bitcoin starts popping again next cycle. And clskw could be an exciting one to be in. I would avoid buying on crazy days like this. Maybe just DCA like I said, but get ready because the Bitcoin miners are about to wake up, and we are finally, after multiple months, we are finally back to approaching those profitable quarters again. But anyways, what do you guys think? How are you feeling about the Bitcoin miners today? How are you feeling about Bitcoin? Do you think we're going to crack over that 100K and keep it? Or do you think we find it as resistance and retest some lower levels? Hopefully you guys have a good weekend. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.